And so we welcome you back. I'm Kendal Makgamathe. I'm doing your sports. We've literally got 9 minutes to go through some of the biggest sports stories hitting around the world this morning. And with me, of course, are Jody Hendricks and the new generation. Gents, we don't have a lot of time. Firstly, welcome back, but big up to Kevin Paul for winning the gold.
Yeah, good morning, Kendall, and good morning to the viewers at home. Yes, first gold medal for Team South Africa. Quiet. The whole departure of the Paralympics team going to Rio and the media hoo-ha, but you know, they're putting up their hands. All 45 of them know exactly what's expected of them.
Yeah, 45 athletes and a minimum goal of 45 medals to come back with, and we've got one in the bag, and the future looks bright for the next 2 weeks.
Another story making headlines, in fact, one that saddens me deeply, that if I'd had a choice, I would not be talking about it, but I'm here at work. Serena Williams getting ousted and kicked out of the US Open by Karolina Pliskova, seeded 10th. Nobody expected it?
I didn't expect it, particularly having watched the quarter-final match between her and Halep. We saw glimpses in that second set where she went down 6-4, and you could sense that there's a bit of tension and anxiety getting into that semi-final. Obviously, she knows now the older she gets, the more eyes are on her to reach every single final. But, you know, she won the quarterfinal. She's still ranked #1, but disappointed not to go to the semi-finals.
Yeah, that ranking is about to go, though, I do believe.
Yeah, she's been struggling the past year. I think made it into a couple of finals. I think she only won one, lost in the semi-finals. Also, she's getting older, and time's running out for her to make the record. Steffi Graf's the record that they share, to make that her own, Kendall.
Yeah, with that said, once again, just to put it out there, Angelique Kerber is now in the final against Pliskova. Nobody really expected that, and I think because of that, Angelique Kerber, on Monday, she's going to be #1, having beaten Wozniacki. Let's go on to other sporting stories doing the rounds. I know that we've also got some interesting stuff coming out of the ICC. Kingsmead was given a bit of a rap of the knuckles. Cricket South Africa, a poor outfield, they came back to say.
Good. Very good by the ICC. We can't tolerate such to happen. These are two quality sides. It was a test match well anticipated by so many people, media and the spectators. 3 days of sunshine, but no cricket because of a wet outfield. A lot that needs to be done in terms of drainage. We've got drainage systems that work perfectly fine in our country. I speak of Supersport Park and I speak of the Wanderers Stadium. But disappointed with what happened in that first test match between South Africa and New Zealand in Durban. The fine, it's
$15,000.
There's a lot that could be done with that money, but you know, it's a fine at the end of the day. But in the bigger scheme of things, I hope these sort of situations don't come about, particularly with the thought of playing day-night cricket. We can't have such instances where play is not being played because of a wet outfield.
But Jody, this was the first time that we played so early in the year, and we also had the Comrades Marathon also being used, that same place being used. So there were a lot of things that actually came to play here. No?
And I actually saw a report by Cricket South Africa that they sent out to say that we might be seeing some more tests being played in the winter, because they've actually learned a lot of lessons in the series against New Zealand. The fine, I think, you know, maybe they just chose the wrong venue. If they had to play it somewhere else, like Six said, we wouldn't have seen this result. But, you know, the fine, I think they deserve it, because for one day of cricket, you can't have that.
Exactly, and they could have spent the 400,000 rand to buy the outfield covers, or maybe borrowed them from someone, you know. But anyway, it's embarrassing for Cricket South Africa. Hopefully, they've learnt the lesson. MTN8 is up this weekend. A lot of our local football fans were very happy about that. We've got some massive clashes, very interesting. We've got Wits, they're going to be up in action against Cape Town City FC, as well as on Sunday, Chipa against Mamelodi Sundowns. What do you make of that, first
a couple of good games. I think Wits, they're probably the informed team in the PSL at the moment. I just have to make a note that the Soweto Giants, none of them are there. Cape Town City, obviously, the surprise package. A lot of people are still seeing which way they're going. It's a new team in the PSL. My money will probably be on Wits. I think Gavin Hunt will tactically outsmart that team.
News also, I mean, we've got Roger de Saa, who's at the helm of that team. He's not, he's a seasoned campaigner, and he's going to do pretty well for his side. What do you make about Sundowns and their massive schedule that they're looking at for the next 19 days or so? They've got, like, they're in and out of airports.
I think they've got like 10 games in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But speak of Sunday, you know, there's a bit of a buzz in PE from what I hear. Yeah. Because Sundowns is coming to town, and Chipper United are on the rise at the moment, doing pretty well in the league and the MTN8. So it's going to be a mouth-watering encounter on Sunday. And can't wait to see that one.
All right, now let's see what's happening with regards to the Springboks. They're up against Australia in Brisbane. That's tomorrow. Both Cheka as well as Coetzee under the cosh. People are looking for results, both South Africans and Australians. It's going to be a hard-fought one, that one.
I think we need to start at home with the Springboks as to what it is that we need to see, what we'd like to see, what we've seen so far with the team. I think the one thing that I can point out with the Springboks is the forward pack, you know, the tight five. Yes, they look good in glimpses, but together as a unit, they haven't sparked that fire that we need so that Faf de Klerk and Elton Jantjies can feed off the guys at the wing. I heard some of the journalists speaking this week that we need more passes or players who can pass in that back line, maybe shifting Elton Jantjies to 12. I'm against that. He's done pretty well in Super Rugby, playing at 12 with Faf de Klerk. I think it's a matter of them getting the license to play the sort of rugby that they played in the Lions, or the sort of rugby that they played together, working together with the forwards and giving them that momentum going forward.
Jody?
Yeah, let's stick to the opponents quickly. And it's a make or break game for either side, but I think there's more pressure on Australia. It's a home game for them. They've lost 2 games to New Zealand already, so they're under cuff and under pressure. Michael Cheka made a couple of decisions. He brought Quade Cooper back at fly half. So it's going to be an interesting game. I think, like I said, the Aussies, they're going to be under lots of pressure, but I think that the Boks, this is their game to lose, and if they lose today, it will be their turnaround season.
You know what, Jody spoke a little earlier this week with regards to some of the changes that Alice had made. He's made four key changes. One of them being Lawrence Adrianse. And I remember Jody saying he's not convinced that Adrianse actually should be the guy who's moving in that tight prop position. What do you make of that? I mean, it is a very big move to make ahead of this key match.
Yeah, well, clearly Alice could see something in Lawrence Adrianse. I agree with the selection. Because there are not a lot of tight heads going around in our country who have really stood out and put their hands up.
But he's 4th best tight head.
But there's something he's recognized from the player. And I think we need to support sometimes selections from the coaches, and because it's his way of thinking, it's how he sees things. And he would have approached the selectors, he would have approached the captain as to, guys, this is the reason why I'm picking this guy. Yeah. Please support him. And Vincent Koch played in Durban last year, and they scrummed him off the park. But he's bounced back and he's back into the squad, he's in the frame. And let's stick to that and give players.
I got you there. Now let's talk a little bit about the centre pairing. We've dropped the Damien Diayende as well as Mapoe. Juan de Jong and Kriel. Will it work?
Will it work? We don't know. We'll see tomorrow. But I will tell you now that Juan de Jong has been gunning to play for the Springboks and start for Alistair Coetzee against Australia again. It's been a while. We've seen him in the jumper. But Kriel, I'm still not convinced he should be playing in the middle of the park. I prefer him at the back, where I've seen him plenty of times for the Bulls.
Jody, you've got a minute.
I'm not convinced. I think changes were needed in the Bok team, but the 4 that were made, I'm not convinced by them. I'm not convinced by Adrianse at prop. I'm not convinced by the centre pairing. I'm not convinced that Francois Hougaard should be playing wing. The centre pairing, the Allender got dropped, I think, from what I hear, is because of the issues he had on Twitter with some of the fans, and I think it's just Alistair putting his foot down and disciplining the player. I would have liked to see Mapoe and de Jong as the centre pairing, and maybe Kriel coming off the bench. But de Jong and Kriel's getting the opportunity now. The proof will be in the pudding. Will the Boks be good enough? Will they be able to compete against the Aussies? The breakdown again with Pocock and those guys, it's going to be very important. I'm looking forward to doing the game tomorrow, Kendal.
Oh, fantastic. You both will be commentating on that game. SABC is covering all of this. Be sure to stay with SABC because, as you heard, both Jody and Kolele will be working on the weekend. That's where we leave it for now. We'll be back next week. You've been watching Newsroom. I'm Kendal Makgamathe, joined by the new generation. Until next week, bye-bye.